Now let's go back to these passages that I want to talk about. Now remember, he's saying Justin Martyr said, and I wanted to pull the quote, I just didn't have time to pull it, but he claims Justin Martyr said that these miracles were still active, and he's saying, well, because we have these church fathers who gave their testimony that these miracles are still active, then we have to say that the coming of the Lord is still future, because he recognizes the impact of 1 Corinthians 1, 6 through 8. But if his proof is simply based on the apostolic fathers, let's go back and look at them. So take a look at what John Chrysostom, or Chrysostom, however you pronounce that, and what he said. And he was commenting. Now, he wrote some years after Justin Martyr. Justin Martyr was born, I think, around AD 100. And he lived, to about 156 or maybe later, a little bit later. But anyway, here's John Chrysostom, who said, and by the way, Don gave me this quote. I actually looked it up and found the source of it. But he had shared it with me because he had someone who was saying the same thing. But notice what it says. One may naturally inquire, what is that which withholdeth? Now he's commenting on 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, a verse we've already covered. And after that would know why Paul expresses it so obscurely. What then is it that withholdeth? That is, hindereth him from being revealed. Some indeed say the grace of the Spirit, but others the Roman Empire, to whom I most of all accede. So he's saying that's my position, the Roman Empire. But he says, wherefore? Because if he, Paul, and that DKP stands for Don's initials, so he's inserted the word Paul there. He says, if he meant to say the Spirit, he would not have spoken obscurely, but plainly, that even now the grace of the Spirit, that is, the gifts, withhold him. And otherwise he ought now to have come when the gifts ceased, for they have long since ceased. Now there's your apostolic fathers for you. So now which one of them are we going to believe? Are we going to believe Chrysostom, or are we going to believe Justin Martyr? Because here is John Chrysostom placing the gifts at the time of the coming of the Lord. And it doesn't matter whether you use Irenaeus or whether you use any of them. Here's someone saying, out of these same fathers, see, which ones are we going to accept? That the gifts had ceased a long time ago. Now, here's what I'm saying. These men were not accurate in everything that they said. This is why I don't use them for an authority. You can learn some things from them. He says, do I still believe that the sick should be brought before the churches so they can be laid hands upon for recovery? I don't think anybody in the church today has the ability to lay hands on someone and heal them. Now, if you want to pray for them, you can pray for them. Look, if I thought that gifts were still in existence, I'd go down to the hospital, up to the ICU and all those places where people are in trauma and everything else, and I'd heal a bunch of them. But you don't see any of them doing that as far as their views are concerned. Okay, so now let's cover some more of these points.